What is up, everybody? Carter here with Edge Mindset. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day, evening, middle of the night, weekend, holiday, whatever it is when you're watching this video. Thank you so much for hanging out, engaging, liking, subscribing, all that stuff. And if you're not doing those things, please do. But if you still don't want to, that's cool too. We can still hang out and talk about knives. We're diving into Kunwu Knives and why I personally really like the brand. Obviously, a lot of the reasons I like the brand are the same reason everybody else does, but we're doing the top 5 reasons why maybe you should check out Kunwu Knives. In case you're maybe a little hesitant, you've seen some stuff, you're like, I don't know if this is really for me. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. So I've got, how many do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 knives. One of which is kind of an honorary Kunwu, and that's this One Track Mind ire here. So this is made OEM'd by Kunwu, but this is not a Kunwu knife proper. It is not a Kunwu design. This is somebody else who is a knife reviewer, knife enthusiast, who designed a knife and had it manufactured by Kunwu. But it does have kind of a lot of their telltale quality, all the things that you've come to kind of like about Kunwu, especially in terms of how they're built. This knife has it, but we're gonna discard this one. I wanted to give it an honorary mention, but it is not a proper Kunwu knife, so we're kicking it out. It's out of here. It is now a bastard child hanging off screen right there. So now that we've got the riff-raff out of here, just kidding. That's an awesome knife. Really cool. I can't get it right now, but Steve Joyce of One Track Mind is going to be, and it's back, is going to be doing some more knives, more designs, maybe another version of the ire or just another run of it. So he's not out of the game. He's still in. But yeah, you can't just go buy this knife right now. This was a pre-order from last year. So if you missed out on that, you can pick one up on the secondary. That's about it. So before I get into, oh man, I did my numbering backwards. So I'm going to have to remember to do it backwards. Before I get into the top 5, we're going to get into the top 5. Let's run through what these knives are. This is the Gringo in the really cool Stonewash DLC, which is a new finish for Kunwu. Traditionally, they've done the DLC over satin, like this Padre right here. But on this Gringo in particular, it's over Stonewash, which is really cool because it's kind of more of a matte finish, not all shiny. Huge knife, very neat. It's got that cantaloupe texturing on it. Really like this one. This is the Primo. As you can see, I've done some forced patina on the blade there. I absolutely love the way that looked. Ergonomics on this thing is out of sight. If you're hesitant on picking one of these up, I would say just go do it. These are both frame locks. All 3 of these are frame locks. And then we'll get to the next one here in a second. This is the Padre. This is the knife that kind of put them on the map. Based on my perception, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like this is the knife that really put them in people's minds in terms of designs, because it is just really well executed. In particular, the frame lock version. This also comes in the X-Lock version, like this Django here. But in this frame lock version, this thing is just, it's banging. It's one of those knives that somehow takes all of the classic things, right? Like all of the classic things that make it just all around really, really nice. And then it somehow does it fresh enough that it doesn't look derivative of other knives, if that makes sense. Like there's a lot of things here that are pretty common sense design stuff, like the banana handle for ergonomics. You've got the double large choil, which is very common. You've got the very low, deep belly, similar to like the CKF Rotten Designs Evo. You've got an opening hole. But everything is done new enough and fresh enough that it doesn't feel like it's a copy of other knives, which is pretty impressive this day and age. It's hard to do things fresh that aren't weird. Because yeah, you can do new stuff. Ooh, look how pretty that is now. You can do new stuff by doing like wonky things, but usually you're compromising ergonomics, you're compromising cutting performance, you're compromising things. Not in this one. Anyways, not meaning to gush here. This is the Django. One of my favorite, like I love clip point blades. And so I really, really like this one. I'm not the biggest fan of crossbar locks. This one is done very, very well. Super solid, easy to use, very smooth. But crossbar locks just aren't really my thing. I wish this was offered in a frame lock or a liner lock, but I know I'm not alone. I was going to say that's just me, but I know it's not just me. I've heard a lot of people say that too. But I also really dig the stonewash on stonewash of this one. So, all right, now that we are, 5 minutes in, I apologize. If somebody wants to comment down below, list starts at 5 minutes. I'll pin it at the top so that I don't get so many angry comments. I didn't intend on taking this long to get started, but this will go quick. So number 5, we have the obvious one, and that is quality for the price. Kunwu knives are made very, very well. They do an excellent balance of performance with kind of, I don't want to say decoration, but like style. You know, you've got this nice checker pattern that's on this one. They're very known for this checker pattern. Looks really cool, but it's also very functional, provides a lot of grip. And for the money, these things are just really, really good. This one here with the DLC is like $3.15, brand new from a retailer. If you try to find this from any other knife company where you have a Moku tie pivot collar, full tie with milling, and a DLC blade, you're good luck finding that for that price point, especially in one as well executed as this. I know there are some budget knives that do kind of play in this price range, but they're not done as well as what Kunwu does. So price for the money is out of sight. You get amazing quality and also unique stuff like this handle texture. I know it's not everybody's jam, but it is something unique that Kunwu does that other companies aren't doing. In fact, I've said this before, I have no idea how they're doing textures like this, but it's functional and it's interesting and it's unique and it provides style to the knife, and it's milling and it's time and it costs money, and they're still offering these things very, very competitively for the price point that they're at, especially if you get into like the crossbar lock ones. I forget what the price point of something like this is, but I think it's in the 200s. Full titanium, LMAX steel, I believe, on this one. And we're going to talk about that here in a minute, a little more specifically. A lot of these are, LMAX right there. A lot of these are interconnected, right? So I'm kind of fumbling through, not wanting to say things because it comes later. So just quality for the price is phenomenal, right, for what you get. Next one, number 4. Now this one I think is really kind of what sets Kunwu apart. Made for work. These are made to be used, and they represent that. And you don't see a lot of that in overseas made knives. Not all that common. And I was going to jump ahead again. If you pop into the community, you're going to see that. Like, a lot of people that are into Kunwu knives are putting them to work. And they're designed to do that. They've got kind of rougher finishes. They don't have, like, even though they're stylish, they're not, like I said before, they're not doing anything weird. It's not like, I don't know, what's something to do here? It's not something like even this Chavez knives here, which is very functional, very, very functional, but, it's not necessarily ideal. It's got thicker blade stock. It's got a reasonably short flat grind. It's not going to be all that slicey. It's a little bit more form over function, whereas Kunwu, and you'll notice sometimes I say Kunwu, sometimes I say Kunwu. I don't know why I do that. For the most part, Kunwu knives build their knives to be used, right? And that carries through on the design, the geometry of the blades, the materials they use, and the way they look. Now, I'm not saying there's not blingy ones out there, because there absolutely is. I'm just saying they fill that niche of people to buy these knives, throw them in their pocket, go out on the job site, and get work done. Number 3, they listen to customers. They pay attention to feedback. Things people gripe about, things people like. They've got their ear to the ground. They've got representation here in the United States as well as other countries where they're paying attention to what people are saying. They're not just designing these things in a vacuum box and pumping out content based on pumping out product based on what's selling and what they think is going to get attention. They're listening to what people are saying they want and need, and they pay attention. And that should be common, but unfortunately, just like a lot of industries, it's not as common as it should be. A lot of companies are not doing that kind of thing. Number 2, and this kind of plays into some of the other ones. This is the steel they use, and I'm going to throw DLC in there. But the steel they use, this goes along with the number, 4, made for work. they use a lot of tool steels, and they use a lot of steels we don't see used as much nowadays. This one is in S390, not M390, S390. This is a high carbon tool steel. This one is in Vancron, which once again is a high carbon tool steel, which is why I was able to take this patina here. We've got Vanex, like I mentioned. No, I didn't mention before. This one is in Vanex. Amazing steel, high premium steel. This also plays into the price point too. I forgot to mention this. Vanex is a premium steel, and they just throw it into this $300 knife. If you get the regular stonewash version like this is $299, brand new from retailers. I mean, it's bonkers. And then we've got LMAX on this as well, which LMAX is one of those cult favorite steels, right? That isn't something a lot of people think they necessarily like, but those that do like it are pretty fervorous about it. Very cool. So, and this kind of goes into them caring about these knives being used. Their heat treats are phenomenal. They've been tested over and over again. Their DLC is done really well. It is a near bulletproof coating on this knife. If you are wanting to protect your knife from scratches, their DLC will do that. This has all been tested. Normally, when you see overseas knives, commonly they skimp out on things like tool steel. Not that it's poor quality, but they just go with the M390 because they know that most of the people buying the knife care how it looks, and they're not necessarily into steel performance and things like that. And once again, I'm not saying they're doing it like low quality, but they just know that's not going to be the selling feature for their knife. So if they can buy M390 in bulk and save some money by just producing it in that, then that's what they do. Doing different blade steels like this is expensive. When you have a knife where almost every knife is a different blade steel, you're not buying in bulk like a lot of companies do. One of the ways that like Microtech keeps their money down or their cost down is they exclusively use their, whatever it is, M390MK that they get from Bowler. They exclusively use that. So they buy so much of it that they get a deep discount on it. If they decided to go back to doing different steels, prices would go up. They wouldn't be able to afford bringing that in and things like that. So kind of fits in with the other factors, right? Like I mentioned, a lot of these are connected. The value for the money and also the concept of these being made to be used all kind of fits together. Number one, which I don't know, this shouldn't be number one. I should have put more thought into my little list here. I wrote down a little list that I'm looking at. Really, this probably should have been number 5. But then I decided to reverse the numbers and I didn't realize, okay, so number 1, but not really number 1, is the community, the Facebook group. They are hilarious. They are fun. They are pretty active. For somebody like me, who is a knife hobbyist, first and foremost, right? I've got plenty of knives. I could never buy another knife in my life, and I will be covered for all of my cutting needs for all time, including my kids and friends and everybody, right? So I don't need any more knives. I enjoy the form, the function, and the people behind the knives, right? Because to me, this is just an excuse to hang out and talk with people and share jokes and stories and trials and tribulations and information and data and your passion for kind of a hobby. But behind that are the people, right, that are in it. And so community and Facebook groups are important to me. I like to get behind brands that have an active community in some sort of location where I can go and talk and meet people and do things like that. Maybe meet up with them in real life at like a knife show or something. I value that. I know not everybody does. Some people are just like, no, just give me the knife, bro. Put the knife in the bag. That's all I care about. Give me that piece of steel. Make it as good and as cheap as possible. That's all I care about. But for me, I like the community. I like the group, and the Kunwu group on Facebook is pretty fun. Yeah, they might be a little much for some people. You know, they get pretty wild with the jokes and the innuendos and stuff. For me, it resonates and it clicks. I don't take myself too seriously, and so I don't take a lot of things too seriously. There's like a small nucleus of things, like my family, health, things like that. Everything else, it's all made up. You know, it's all just mumbo jumbo that we, as weird brains walking around in meat sacks, just kind of made up because we thought it was cool. So I find it hard to take a lot of things serious, but that's me. I really like the group. I really like, the company and what they're doing. Sergio is awesome, who's kind of the PR marketing / head of relations, physical embodiment of the company in English speaking areas guy. I think he's cool. I want to meet him one day, shake his hand, bump his fist, whatever. But yeah, anyways, so Kunwu, check them out if you want. They're pretty dang cool. There's a reason people like them. It's not all just surface. They're not just another overseas knife company cranking out stuff. There's a lot more below the surface with them. So, all right, guys, leave your comments down below. I am out. You guys take care.